podcast, yeah, you fucking listen to it. Fucking podcast, yeah, you fucking listen now. Fucking podcast, yeah, you fucking listen to it. Fucking podcast, yeah, let us show you how. Do something.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, this is you're live with Tip of the Finger Comedy's Out of Hand podcast, sponsored by Inebriated Records, and we got a badass guest for you guys today. His name is Mark Harley. He's definitely an established actor. He's had a lot of great roles and continues to do great things and big things. And I think it's time to welcome him in.
Bring him in.
Yeah.
What's up?
How we doing?
Great.
A lot better now.
What does it have that effect on people? I just enter a podcast digitally and just brighten everybody's mood. It's kind of crazy.
It's awesome. It's a good effect to have.
Yeah, nice.
It's just the energy flow. Mark, I got to get your opinion on this, man.
Sure.
I've been a bodybuilder for 25 years.
Yeah.
What do you think about my games?
What do I think about? Actually, you do have some pretty good arm muscle, I'd say.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You know, maybe if you were serious about lifting 25 years, I'd be like, well, what are you doing in those 25 years? But
he's taken a lot of 5-year breaks.
Yeah. Not continuously 25 years. I once lifted 25 years ago and started again.
Exactly.
Yeah, I did a little bit of work the other day.
The thing is, if you rest too long between reps, you'll atrophy, and that's what happened in this case.
Right. Yeah. He was on that extended rest cycle, huh?
yeah, exactly.
Oh, 3 minutes, not 3 years between sets. Crazy.
It's like calendars, man. It's easy to misread, you know.
Good callback.
Yeah.
But nobody else knows. That callback is something nobody knows about. We had a scheduling mishap, right?
Yeah. So what I said
I was like, oh, it's today. I didn't even realize.
Like 2 weeks ago.
I don't fucking know what day it is. So
yeah,
like, let's go. I'm like, yeah, it's today. Okay, let's do it.
Let's do it, man. I just got done taking a shit. Let's go.
Exactly.
So ready. Yeah, but no, thanks for coming on, even though the calendars are really out of line these days.
They just don't make calendars like they used to.
No, it's not the same, man. It used to be like you could look at a calendar and you could call out the dates.
Yeah.
Nowadays it's like, oh,
thanks, Biden.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks, Biden.
And the Mayan calendar ended, didn't it? So we can't even go by that shit anymore.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I thought, all right, guys, that's enough. Get out of here with that shit.
I'll just say, we didn't have these problems under Trump. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, okay. No, I could.
Calendars work. Say what you will about the guy. The calendars actually worked. Okay.
I could read a calendar better than anybody.
Yeah. I walked in the room. I said, "Great calendars in here. Good calendars."
These calendars are great. Yeah. Well, man, Cody Borum wants to know how we got Fabio on here. It's great. Actually, we made a meme and sent it to Mark. It was a picture of Mark looking all glorious, and it said, "I can't believe it's not margarine." That was so great. I was so glad that you loved it. So
yeah, that's a good pickup by this guy, because yes. Look, if any margarine companies are watching right now, I'd love to be the next spokesperson for the margarine community. I can kind of carry that torch that Fabio picked up so many years ago. The Italian accent if needed. I'm versatile as an actor, so let's do this.
We'll brand you as Mark Harleo.
Love it.
Yeah, I really think you could probably slick things up in the margarine business.
Yeah, dude. I think I'm a margarine industry disruptor. So
yeah, I think you could. I think the fact that it's no cholesterol is just amazing too. Margarine is cholesterol free. Sure, it's like 2 molecules away from plastic or whatever, but that's not important. That's not important.
It's not plastic is the point. There is a chemical difference.
Yes. But yeah, so basically our goal here tonight is to get the facts about Mark Harley.
Yeah.
To know Mark Harley some.
you're gonna get all the facts.
So basically, we've done a little study and we've done our own research.
Wow.
And yeah, it's surprising. You look at guys like us, and you're like, they do not do research.
Aside from background checks that have recently been investigated upon me, we got people out there doing Mark Harley research. So that's cool.
It was fun to do, man. So I'd like to start by saying, Mark, you look like the kind of guy that likes to let your light shine.
Yeah.
Is that fair to say?
Sure.
Is it true that when you go outside to get a tan, the sun gets darker instead?
You know, I for a while I didn't know what was happening, but then I realized, yes, in fact, the sun is dimming every time I go out. Like I'd be like, what the fuck is going on? I just want to go out and get a tan. And all of a sudden it's like, is it cloudy? Is it the sun's dimming? Well, I guess
the sun is dimming. What's going on?
I guess my future is pretty fucking bright.
Yeah. They call it a Harley eclipse.
Yeah, no, don't worry. It's not it's just me, guys. Chill out. It's fine. It'll pass. It's gonna be out for about 30 minutes. Don't worry.
Yeah, and it wasn't daylight savings. It was just you just genuinely trying to get a tan.
Yeah, don't worry. No, everything's still spring forward, fall back. Harley walks outside sometime, in between those two things, and I know it's confusing for everybody, but
And I believe that we've seen the effects all the way here in Missouri, because sometimes I'll be outside looking at the sun. I'm thinking it's okay. Then I'll go inside for a few hours. I'll come back out and it's gone.
It's dark. It's dark.
Yeah. Well, I guess, yeah, I think we've probably thought about all the other possible explanations, and the only reasonable one, the only thing we can conclude is I am affecting the trajectory of the sun. So I don't know what else to tell you, but
it's a dark Harley sunset.
That's what we've been saying.
Kind of glad we're on the same page.
Oh yeah,
we are. So Mark.
Yes.
After you've imposed your thrustic masculinity on a vaginal American, consensually, of course, has she ever taken then and went? Has she ever told her friends that she got to ride a Harley?
I do think that's one of the benefits of being a vaginally gifted American who has consensual sexual intercourse with me. I think some girls are just doing that in order to say the phrase afterwards. So like, I don't even really want to have sex with them, but by doing so, I can go around and say, I rode a Harley, even without a motorcycle license. So it's a loophole for people who want to be able to express that sentiment, but are too lazy to get themselves a motorcycle license. So yes, I think that is becoming a more and more common occurrence for women to do that.
Yeah, I think it is. And we've also seen the blowback from that here in Missouri too, because I've heard girls just at the gas station talking about wanting to ride Harleys.
Yeah, I guess word is spreading, huh? I'm heading west.
The only direction you want to go, huh?
Yeah, exactly. Ask him if he calls your penis his hog. In fact, Cameron, I do call my penis my hog. It's one of my favorite nicknames for my penis. I work it into as many conversations as possible. I'll walk around naked and order back. Are you looking at my hog?
You guys looking at my hog?
This hog right here?
Just got out of the shop.
Yeah. Let me try to start it up.
All right, producers are ready. Just get a little out of hand.
All right.
That was it.
Okay, that was out of hand. Now, so Mark, you are you still on the 50 Central, or is that?
Well, that's all. I'm still on it online. You can find clips of me online, but yeah, that we just shot a bunch of episodes for that.
That's
didn't get renewed, but it'll live forever digitally.
Yeah, so. That's great, man. That's like that for me, like, because 50 Cent, that's a big deal, dude. And what was it like getting to work with him?
50 Cent was super cool. So obviously, yeah, like I think guys of our generation, he's always going to be this mega celebrity to us because he just took over rap music in the early 2000s. So
right.
it was really cool, like just being able to say, like, I got to work with 50 Cent. I'm gonna be on this show with 50 Cent. So everybody my age, and if you're of our generation, I don't know your guys' exact age, but it sounds like you're into 50 Cent, in the same way that most people I know that I went to school with or that I'm friends with were into. That was cool in and of itself, to just be able to be like, I'm gonna do a show with 50 Cent. Then you actually get there and meet him, and he turns out to be super cool, has a great sense of humor about himself, a lot of charisma. We got to shoot some sketches together, and like he was just very open about like if I gave him some alt lines or something like that, like something wasn't coming out right in a sketch, and I'd be like, hey, what about like just write some jokes on the fly. He was very open to like suggestions, because again, he's stepping into the world of doing sketch comedy, and it's hard doing any kind of comedy is hard, as you guys know, even if you're somebody who's performed before, and he's not a little acting, but comedy is still always a different thing. So I just got to have certain memorable experiences with him. Like I remember one time we were shooting this sketch that I actually got cut out of. I was just in it for like a line at the end that they didn't end up using, but it was like the premise was like it was like a Spider-Man spoof. So like Mary Jane's walking through an alley, and like she gets mugged by this group of people, and Spider-Man comes out of nowhere and like beats everyone up, and it's like, Spider-Man, where are you? And he comes down upside down behind her, and she's like, well, I want to thank you, and pulls down his mask to give him a kiss, and then sees that he's black, and she's like, oh, and he's like, and so he's like, I was just expecting something a little different, and he's like, what do you mean different? So that was a funny little premise, but the execution of that obviously is like, we're in, the middle of Brooklyn in like an actual alleyway in July, and it's like 89 degrees. He's hanging upside down by a crane. The whole thing was pretty wild, especially for him. It's very uncomfortable to be hanging upside down and acting because all the blood rushes into your face, etc. But I just remember he was a really good sport about that. And before we came out, like onto set, we were like, we got ready in a nearby hotel, like that was like our trailer. And I was dressed as Daredevil. There was some joke at the end where I came in and I was like, I say some comment, I make a joke about like not seeing race. Like they got my Daredevil outfit like had some built-in muscles into it, and I remember like we both came out of like the elevator at the same time on like two different sides of the elevator, and he's like, why does this motherfucker have muscles in his shit? I want muscles in my shit, like. So he was always like cracking jokes, having a good sense of humor. And it was just, again, like to paint the picture, it's 50 Cent coming out of the like escalator in a full Spider-Man costume, like a skin Spider-Man. It's like, this is a once in a lifetime, like just, freeze frame that moment.
Epic.
And save it forever. So there was lots of stuff like that. I remember people would like, people would always like gravitate towards him on set. So this one girl, like for example, if you were on a set shooting a sketch, we were doing this one that was like a joke about like a sexual harassment orientation where we're like in an office setting, and one of the extras was like the extras are all like kind of like they'll creep towards 50 because he's just like he's got that magnetism, he's got that charisma, and somehow like while listening to one of his stories, she like took her shoe off, and she was kind of like maybe like a little bit retarded, like but it was like something's going on, like and she like fully took her shoe off, and like when there was like just the quickest break in the conversation, like she just inserted this non sequitur. She was like, I got a bunion on my feet. And like taking her shoe off, and was like putting her foot like in front of 50 Cent, like her bare foot, like in front of just like, and she wasn't part of the conversation. So it was like he's like talking to us, and then he has to like turn over here, and it's like this girl's foot is in his face. He's like, look at my bunion, and he's just like, yeah, that's the bunion, all right. And then like,
yeah, that's what it looks like.
Yeah, that's it. So these are just little examples of like he would deal really well with like people. you know, kind of like, because everybody wants to interact with him. Anywhere we'd go,
Right.
be shouting his name, and it was just cool to see him like deal with all that, because he is sort of a man of the people, and would always deal with the attention really well, and was just in general like had a good sense of humor about himself, and was always just a, you know, cool customer as far as like dealing with the stresses of doing something that's not like your cup of tea necessarily. It's doing sketch comedy or doing this like parts of the show where we're live in front of a, you know, studio audience. So it was really cool to see him in action and have some of those memories, because it's a, you know, it's a once in a lifetime thing for sure.
Yeah, I get that. Like, you know, whenever you're famous, you know, or becoming famous,
Yeah.
those awkward situations are gonna occur. We were lucky enough to open up for Chappelle when he was in Kansas City.
Oh,
and
nice.
hang out with him in the green room. It was a great time. We jammed.
Yeah.
Jake taught him how to play a Wonderwall from Oasis, which is kind of hilarious.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice.
But we're back there after the show. We're back there and we're just kind of hanging out. He had actually, so my younger brother was in the front row. Chappelle didn't know that he was my brother. And Chappelle starts kind of like picking on him, you know, for comedy, playing on him. And then he buys he pays for his food, him and his date. He paid for their food. You know, he's like, hey, I got you guys. Huh? Chappelle Lacey?
Chappelle paid for it. Yeah. No, I'm saying he. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's great. And so anyway, we go back there, and I was like, "Hey, man, just so you know, Greg's actually my brother. He is joining the Marines, and we're actually getting ready to go see him. He's graduating in early October, the first week of October. We're going to go see him graduate in San Diego. But anyway, so he's like, "Oh shit, that's your brother." He's like, "Bring him back here." So I bring Greg back to the green room, and we're like, you know, getting pictures, and we're hanging out and having a good time. And this lady just walks into the green room, and she's super trash. And she's like all emotional, and she's like, my sister is out there. She's paralyzed, and she's a big fan.
Yeah.
And so it just like it became this like really awkward, like we're all just staring at her, waiting for her.
And so, do you want me to like leave right now? Like, yeah, I mean,
that's like, no. Chappelle was so cool about it, though. He's like, yeah, fuck it, let's go talk to her right now. And so yeah, we went out in the hallway and got pictures. It was great. Yeah,
Chappelle's a super sweet guy.
He is.
You know, it doesn't surprise me that he'd want to pay for that food or do, you know, again, he's just one of my best friends, one of the sweetest people I know, really curious guy, and just, you know, very pure heart. And a lot of it's funny actually seeing him, like, because I've been to some shows with him now, like he is really an introvert, you know, and a lot of people don't realize that. So like even seeing him, do meet and greets after the shows, like you can see like he's not that great at small talk, or at least like he's like kind of drained by it. So he'll like have these interactions with fans and kind of like just, I'm like, I know he's like not totally energized by it the same way that he's giving his best and wants to connect with people, but he'll be like, hey man, you guys seen the Buffest Man on Instagram, Mark Harley? He'll pass me off, you know. I'm like, I know what you're doing.
I know what you're doing. Yeah, man. I didn't know that you guys were in Tulsa until after the fact, or I probably would have came down to check it out.
Oh, cool. Yeah, that was a fun one too. But yeah, he's such a great guy, and just has a lot of self-awareness, I think. You know, from all the self-work he's done with the anger management and counseling and all that stuff. You know,
yeah.
He's a guy who knows who he is. I'll say that.
Yeah, so we definitely we had a great time hanging out with him. Hopefully, we get to do something in the future.
He is cool. And I just want to say he's extremely talented on the guitar. Like he picked up Wonderwall, like
bam.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, because I know. I mean, like I'll hear him play stuff, and I know that's like he spends a good, you know, amount of time on it every day. It's just he's not necessarily going to be like posting about it all the time, you know. Because some people will be like shitty at the guitar, but like posting anyway. Like here's me playing this shitty rendition of Wonderwall. That's not him, but yeah, I mean he's you know, it's a huge part of his life, and he's in a band that's like funny because like he'll you know, he's like, I mean, I don't know if he wants me to say this. I guess it's okay if you know, it's like I'm like releasing his unreleased songs, but you know, he'll meet some of these big people that I'm a huge fan of, and like we grew up listening to punk rock. So like, you guys know Rancid?
Yeah, I know of them. I'm not a huge Rancid fan, but you know, I've heard of them.
So he'll meet like Tim Armstrong, the lead singer of Rancid, and like he has like a Rancid tattoo. So the guy was like, yeah, man, your family, like I fuck with you. Just because it's like, yeah, if you put it on your fucking, arm, like obviously you like, it's more than just being like, I'm a big fan. It's like, no, seriously, I'm a, like, you're on my
Huge
body.
fan. Yeah.
So he's like made music with some of these guys. Like he's in a band, like he's working on like an EP with, Tim Armstrong of Rancid. And it's just cool to see him or like he hangs out with this guy, Toby from H2O. Like, I think when he meets these people in the music industry, they really, can tell that music is so important to his life. And, they really fuck with him in return,
And it's great. It's just great to see somebody that's doing, it's kind of what we're trying to do. We're just trying to move up and chase our dream of comedy and music. And we write skits and come up, we just come up with off the wall shit all the time, and we want to do something productive with it.
Yeah, no, it is great because he's a guy who's like, coming from out of state, no connections here. He meets a couple people who are like, give him the encouragement to move from Arizona out to California. And when I met him, he was still working at a hotel. And I remember like the decision, like he was like texting us about like thinking about quitting my hotel job and like kind of making that leap into doing, comedy full time. And I think I can support myself and yada, yada. And it is like for anybody, that's a huge leap. But he's bet on himself, and it's really paid off because, I think he walks the walk and puts in the work. And, like you guys, you have a high quality product. You can stand by your comedy and say like, we can get on stage and deliver the goods. And I think that's always just the most important foundation, obviously, outside of like whatever you're doing on social media. I think like Chappelle has developed a pretty good social media following, and it's been impressive seeing him go from like, probably a few thousand followers when I met him to like he's over 100,000 followers, but that's not leading the train. His skills and his work and the quality of his stage entertainment is what's driving everything. So I think it's cool to see that when it's kind of like you're bringing the goods and you're getting a following because people really like what you do, and it's not some sort of gimmick or it's not some marketing tactic just to get people to like click on your page. It's like, no, you're following me because I'm good at what I do, and that's always a good starting point.
Yeah, that's the proof is in the pudding, and that's not a Bill Cosby joke. But anyway, this is the Sonny wants to know what these suspenders are holding on to. I'm here to tell you it's absolutely nothing. There's nothing going on down there.
It's like what's on the picture there.
Yeah, it's his wiener. Okay. Okay, well anyway, so enough about Chappelle. We all love Chappelle, but this is the Mark Harley episode.
There we go.
So we want to get to know Mark Harley more. So we took a poll, and 60 people from your hometown. Wait a minute, where's your hometown?
San Rafael, California.
Santa Fe?
San Rafael.
San Rafael. Okay, so 60 people from San Rafael. We took a poll, and they said that you're actually made from the DNA of Matt Damon, Brad Pitt, and a mountain. So that's present a unique
comparison for once.
Do what?
I said that's actually a flattering comparison for once, because most people like to compare me to other people who are like uglier than I am. It's fine. That's fine. But like for once, like, hey, upsell me a little bit. Give me a little Brad Pitt, a little Matt Damon. I don't have a problem with that.
And a little mountain in there too.
Yeah, mountains are good too.
I imagine you probably wake up rock hard.
Yeah, I certainly do.
That explains all the boulders all over your body too.
Yeah, with all the creatine I take, I wake up rock hard indeed.
My question is, how did they produce? That's for another episode.
That's science. We're not scientists. We're not here to debate science right now.
Yeah, you guys can
listen debating science.
I go into the the science of creatine.
Well, you got this one, Jake.
What's a day in the life of Mark Harley look like?
Day in the life of Mark Harley looks like I wake up, take some green tea pills to wake the fuck up even more. I go walk the cats actually first thing in the morning. Now, walk the cats might be a deceptive term because really I put leashes on them and take them out into the courtyard areas. It's not as if I'm like walking them around the block like you might walk a dog, but I am loosely monitoring the cats as they go. I currently have 4 cats. They're, of course, as you know, the term herding cats is a thing because cats all go in different directions. So I have one in a bush, one in a tree, one trying to get to the fence. So that's always an adventure every morning. But, eventually I'll get the last one out of the tree, bring him back in, make myself some protein pancakes, some Kodiak cakes mixed with protein powder, whip those up, eat them, hit the gym with Brendan Schaub and Chappelle Lacey, maybe shoot a sketch afterwards with Isaiah Miranda at Zoo Culture, do some training. I do some personal training at a local 24-hour fitness. I do some online training, over FaceTime with some clients. So I knock out a little bit of that. Maybe hit up an audition, do a lot of these days it's a lot of digital auditions. So you can send in a self-tape or even do like something like this where you're like in a, digital meeting room. Let's see, after that, get my own workout, another workout in at some point, like a run up the hill, try to get some cardio in every day after I lift weights with the boys, and then wind down with a nice show with my wife. She's a graphic designer, also works from home. So, right now we're watching Yellowstone. So we're getting balls deep in a nice little series that was recommended to us by Brendan. So yeah, that's pretty typical. And, on occasion I'll have some other entertainment responsibilities. Like today I shot, my own podcast. The week before I was shooting a little bit of a Nickelodeon show, side hustle. So depending on how much I'm in the episode, I might come in for 2 or 3 days or the whole week. It's cool to come in the whole week. And if you're in multiple scenes, they kind of bring you in from beginning to end. And that's always fun just because it's childhood dream being on Nickelodeon. Like your 11-year-old self is freaking out.
Yep.
And it's always just, it's as an actor, it's always just fun because you get your ass kissed on any set, that you're on. It's like,
hell yeah.
What can we get for you? Oh, hi, Mark. It's so much to have you back. So
That's awesome.
So nice to you and treats you like you're important. So that's always cool. And, you get a trailer with your name on it. That's things could be worse, right?
Yeah.
So that's what you do.
Do you think one day we'll get treated like we're important?
Yes, I do actually.
Think so?
I do. Yeah. If you keep working your way up in the entertainment industry, they have to at some point.
Yeah.
When you're headlining or you're on the show, it's like that's just part of the hierarchy. It's like there's a few people who that's hurtful, Cameron. And there was a time when people would have said no to me. I remember the first time the first movie I did with it was the Hungover Games with Jamie Kennedy, and I remember that was my take. I was like, holy shit! People are, when you're doing a movie, they're coming to your trailer, knocking on the door, can I get you any snacks? I'm like, who, me? Oh, me? I guess sure, yeah. Bring me all the snacks.
Yeah, I need the snacks.
Yeah, I just because hey, and maybe that's the only every role that I get, I'm always like, well, this could be the last one. Let them kiss your ass and let them treat you well because it may never happen again. So I try to take that attitude and everything and be grateful for the excitement and the treatment, that's going on because, you never know when it's going to happen again and you can't take anything for granted in entertainment. So I'm grateful when it comes my way.
Well, I mean, it sounds like you are, you're not on the path to success. The path you're on is success.
What's up? Yeah, I mean, I'm excited about it. I think I'm finding my niche. Just trying to also just be myself more. As far as, I mean that in the sense of, there's things that I could do to be more marketable as an actor. Let's cut your hair, shave your face. Stop working out.
No, none of those.
Working out, but it's of course you're going to be typecast to a degree just because they're not looking for somebody to change their whole look to you know, just to have a role, unless you're like Philip Seymour Hoffman and you're, you know, trying to play Truman Capote. You know, that's not how
I don't think he's going to be casted in
I
anything.
have a feeling, yeah, he might not be cast in any of the roles that I'd be going out for in the near future. But, you know, what I mean is by kind of going with my instinct about like, hey, you know what, like I like lifting weights, I like being a certain size, and I'm going to grow my hair out, and sure, there's a lot of reasons to cut it or just be a certain way, but this is like, if you consider your appearance some sort of expression of yourself, you know what I mean? Like if you guys were acting and people are like, oh, you guys need to cut your beards because it's going to give you more opportunities, but like, you like your beard, you like how it looks. Well, then when those roles come up or those opportunities come up, it's like, hey, you need some bearded motherfuckers? Like, we got you, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
So that's just a microcosm, you know, for being yourself, and then, you know, being able to live with yourself at night. Because if you're changing yourself too much with the idea of like, this is going to bring me more auditions or more roles or whatever, but then you're not happy with like how you're kind of presenting yourself to the world. And I've been there before, and it kind of like, it does eat at you a little bit. You know, I found like, you know, like I have premature gray hair. There's been times in my life when I've like dyed it in order to like look more normal. But at some point you're just like, you know what, fuck it. If they want me to dye my fucking hair, they can pay me to do it. And I know these are little things like my hair, I don't want to dye my hair, but they kind of add up, and it's like, I'm me right now. And sure, that isn't going to lead to every opportunity in the world, but like when something comes up and you need a fucking, you know, a barbarian or a Viking or something like that, I'm poised to play that and have fun with it, and maybe do some comedy on top of that. So it works out.
I don't think you should do anything but just be yourself, and it's obviously gotten you this far. I mean, it's going to take you.
And it does, again, when it works out, it feels great. And and I think there is an element of like, yeah, you do what you do. You know, if you think too kind of like too much in a calculated way, like, what should our funny songs be? You know, should we play to this audience? Like, and I've heard your guys' stuff. It's very funny and it's very unique, and nobody out there can do you guys. And I do think that's an important thing to keep in touch with, is like, there's a million ways to think about it in terms of like, oh, well, this is really popular and viral, I should imitate that. Of course, there's going to be, you know, in any facet of entertainment, you know, there's kind of going to be this like voice of like, I should do more of this because this has gotten popular, or this person is succeeding in this way. But I just think ultimately it's a wise decision to be like, this is what we do and this is what we think is funny, you know, so with us, and this tickles us. And then when you find people who actually share that, it feels better as well. So
yeah, it's not about getting all the audience. It's about just getting the right audience.
Right.
For sure.
Right.
Yeah. And getting people who are enthusiastic about you. You know, there's some adage about like, you know, it's better to have like, you know, one really enthusiastic, I know I'm butchering it, but the idea is like one really enthusiastic fan for every like 100 mediocre fan. Like people who are like, I kind of like tip of the finger, you know. You'd rather have a smaller collection of people who are like
legit fans.
I love those guys, you know.
Yeah. And it's like we always seem to pick up at least a couple every show we do, but we always get the same thing. It's always like, man, we love you guys. We really like Tenacious D, you know, and you know, and then they start backtracking like, well, we didn't mean that. It's like,
yeah, it is funny because like, and I know exactly what you mean when people make these comparisons, and like when you've heard them a bunch of times, like your first instinct is kind of like have an eye roll or get defensive almost. But I always try to like give people the benefit of the doubt of like, I know what you're trying to express. You're trying to go, this reminds me of something I really like.
Right.
You know,
it's a compliment.
Yeah. And people may not be able to articulate that exactly, or even think about the fact that you get the same sort of comments over and over again, you know, like people making the same like comparison, even though it's flattering in their mind, they might not think about the fact that it's like, this person has heard that 100 times and maybe it's a little bit annoying or whatever. You just kind of negative, like, you know, it's amazing. And you think we're amazing too. So rock on.
We don't hold against them. I mean, I know it's a compliment. It's just one of those things like, really, really the only thing that is, I mean, yeah, we're a duo, we do music, but we're totally different as far as like our content, you know, like our stuff. It's a lot different than Tenacious D's.
Yeah, and you want to, you like your instinct is back. Well, actually, see the difference between us and Tenacious D.
Go on a whole tangent about the differences.
Yeah. but one of the things is that's a good comparison almost because like there haven't been many things that you could compare to Tenacious D. You know what I mean? And I say that as a huge fan. I remember I performed. Me and my friend did. Like, what's the song? You don't always have to fuck her hard. You don't know.
Yep.
We did that for some girl for her birthday back in like 2004, and I remember she was horrified by it because he did the guitar and I sang, and he kind of chimed in on the chorus, I think. But she was like, she'd never heard of Tenacious D. She had no idea what was going on, and she felt like humiliated.
She had no context.
Yeah, she's like, "What are you guys doing?" Like, oh my God. But I was saying that to be like, I've been enthusiastic about them since 15 plus years ago, and it's not as if there's a new kind of like, oh, who's the new rock duo? So like people are limited in how they can, because we with musical genres we're like eager to be like, it's like this, even though it might not be like that. And so I think it does say something to like, it's a small pool of groups that are like comedic duos with guitars that have really funny lyrics, because you guys do have these intricate like the jokes are really there, and it's it's hard to do music, it's hard to do comedy, and I think to combine them in a way where like it's not just the chorus that's funny, it's like all the lyrics are funny, and you're kind of taking us on a little bit of a journey, which is my recollection of your guys's songs that I've heard. I was like, oh, they're there's a solid build there, and they're making all the lyrics count. They're not just trying to like sort of cheaply get to like a funny, ridiculous chorus. You guys obviously put a lot of effort into the writing. So yeah, there we go. Boom.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've argued, not argued, but we've spent a lot of time rewriting the slightest little lyrics.
Oh yeah, just a slight reword.
It's something that wouldn't matter to the normal person just reading it. Someone would be like, "Oh yeah, that's just fine." But us together, we're like, "No, that's not fine."
Like this is okay, but it could be better.
Yeah. And I think that's the sense that I get listening to it is like, and I love like my favorite rapper is Eminem. I love lyricism of all sorts. I mean, this is an example of like, this most heightened, like I talk about a guy who really cares about, his lyrics. But anybody who really puts effort into lyrics, I just think that's a fascinating thing, because even if you are just to hear the melody at first and listen to it casually and it's catchy, like at some point you're going to hone into the lyrics, and so even if it sounded like, even if the lyrics were muffled in your guys' case and it's still a good melody, like at some point people are going to tune in back, holy, what are they saying? Like
yeah. That's great. We actually the one about it, if she really loves you, she'll get off her period for you. That song.
Yes.
I think it would be great to do like a music video to that, and so eventually, I want to kind of hash out something with you and see if maybe we can make it possible to where you're the guy, you're the guy that's like kind of scolding her for being on her period.
I would love to do that, and I that's a good reminder of some of the specifics. Because the ones that I can think of are that one. What about like fucking the ocean or the ocean's hot? What is that song?
Yeah. So when I look at the ocean, I get the notion there's some pussy waiting, because it's there's always mountains of pussy waiting for me everywhere I go.
Yes.
When I look at the ocean, I get the notion there's some pussy waiting down below.
Yes. Yeah. So I really to me, that's very funny. And I guess a better comparison to me, a group that I really like that I'm sure you've heard before, but like Garfunkel and Oates, the female duo, because their writing is so strong. That's really what stands out to me, is like they really know how to flesh out a concept, and fill it with really like so that each line is a joke.
Yeah, exactly.
Accomplish that.
Well, when you're doing comedy, I feel like it's important to have each line as a joke. One thing that we're actually going to start changing up is our solos, because to us, having a solo in a song like that adds to the hilarity. But in certain places, there's going to be people that are kind of they space off because of the solo. They don't always appreciate the solo and the way it's incorporated. So they kind of trail off, and it's hard to get them back. So
you mean like a solo?
Huh?
You talking about like adding like the music?
Yeah, adding a solo to the to the song.
Right. That's a good point, actually, because if you're drawn into the lyrics, then yes, you will. You will.
Yeah.
And you almost want to you want to hit him so hard and fucking retract and before then even know what the fuck happened.
Exactly.
It's called the fuck down.
Yeah, it's the fuck down. We do the mind fuck with our thought cocks.
I like that.
So that was out of hand. That was out of
hand. I do like that as a general analogy for all comedy. Like, I think one of the big things that I've always tried to like, if I'm working with anybody, if I've ever had a disagreement, it's always like, this isn't punching me in the face quickly enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
if
right.
I'm thinking too much, or there's any sort of pause, or there's any like downtime, and this is something that, like, for example, these I've been doing like some gym sketches with Isaiah lately, and he has a good sense of this, of like, it can't be like if it's a little bit too long, or if you're not getting punched with the thought cock, like, it's not going to work. So that general concept of like, get in, get out, and then like, instead of making them shut it off because it's too long, like, make somebody listen to it again. Make somebody be like, what the fuck did I just listen to? Repeat that.
Yeah.
You have that, then somebody be like, all right, I've heard enough. Like, it's getting repetitive, right?
I've got to catch a couple of those. They're pretty funny, and the one where you guys are talking about your workout session, but it sounds like it was a different kind of workout session.
Yeah.
That was great.
You want to know what's never repetitive though?
What's that?
You want to know what's never repetitive though?
It's never repetitive. Hell yeah.
So Mark, as you know, the economy is getting out of hand. Gas is high, work is slow.
Totally.
We're behind on the rent. Can we come stay with you?
Can we stay with you, Mark?
Yeah, actually, what we're looking at right now, this is you can see the cat tree behind me. So this is just kind of like the cat room.
So we can sleep over there.
Yeah, that's a guest bedroom all set up for you guys. So all you got to do is find your way out to California, out to Sherman Oaks, California.
Yeah, we'll just ride our bikes over.
Yeah, I don't think it'd take that long. That's doable, right?
Oh yeah, that's easily.
Would the cats mind if I tried climbing on that tree?
Wait, what? Would the cats mind if you climbed on the tree?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. They share.
Also, is this the litter box? Is that community litter box, or is it an ungated litter box?
There we go. You guys can fit in there.
Okay.
The
part I need to fit will fit.
Yeah, exactly. You can drop a hot one right in that little hole.
Yeah, I mean, I look at it like this, man. We won't cause any issues. We won't pick up after ourselves. We won't do any dishes. You'll barely notice we're there.
Doing a whole lot of nothing, it sounds like.
Yeah, you won't notice.
You can't have too many cooks in the kitchen, but you also can't have too many dishwashers in the kitchen.
Exactly.
You can't have too many maids in the apartment. So it's like, if my wife's already cleaning up, we don't want to get too many people involved in the whole cleanup process.
We stay in our lane.
Yeah, you stay in our lane. Just hey, my buddies are here. They're musicians and comedians. Let's not mix everything up and try to get them to cook, clean, or contribute.
Yeah, exactly. They don't need that. They need to focus on their work.
Yeah, like, these are artists. Let's just let them do their art.
Exactly. I'm glad you're on board, man. I'm glad you're on board. Yeah. So, Mark, you've been an actor for quite some time now. What was your favorite role, like character?
I'd say my favorite role was probably. I love playing the one that I'm on right now on Nickelodeon, because to me, like, that's the kind of character, like, when it's funny because it was just like, I've been getting better at auditioning over the years. Like, if I get sent an audition, I used to be like, oh shit, like, I need like 5 hours tomorrow. I'm going to sit there, I'm going to memorize it and meditate and set the lights up and do, like, it would just occupy a lot of space in my mind. And over the years, I've just gotten better at being like, get the notification, you go set it up, you bang it out, knowing that, like, spending 100 takes on it or whatever isn't going to necessarily get you a better audition. So anyway, I'm saying all that just to say this, like, I got the email from my agent and like filmed it and turned it around in like 35 minutes, and I end up booking it, and it's a recurring role. And the role's really funny because the context of the role is, these kids have this hangout spot called the Micro Mooery. So instead of a micro brewery, you know, they go to the microbrewery and order milkshakes and cheese and all different types of milks, you know. And I'm like the only adult that's established there. So the first episode that I'm on is like, I'm trying to win this like milkshake drinking contest. And I'm like, you know, really like taking it super seriously. And like everything I wear is like, the character's name is Stump. And so he's like this tough guy, you know, who's like, just trying to be cool, like around the kids and like impress everybody. And like, yeah, I'm going to win the milkshake suck down this year. But he's really like sensitive, you know, like they'll call him out. They're like, aren't you the guy who like, you know, like I try to like challenge somebody to a milkshake drinking contest and they beat me and I'm like, no fair. And I like run off. So I love that mold of character that's like, you know, a tough or self-absorbed or narcissistic character that like, you know, can get taken down a peg by the other characters around him just because it's like, it allows me to use my physicality to be like, you know, come in like with my chest puffed and then get taken down a peg and be like, what? No, that didn't happen. Like, you know,
yeah,
you're the one who isn't good and stuff. So,
okay, well,
yeah, I think that's a good like archetype for me to play. And it's been really fun seeing like what they come up with, you know, to insert me in these different scenarios with the kids.
well, okay, so here's the issue I'm having. We have a follow-up question for that question, but I have an issue with the fact that you're working with kids on that role. So what's another role that you could revert to in this case?
Let's see here. Let's say I really had a good time doing a role in this Seven Dust music video where I played like the leader of like a bank robbing crew. I thought that came out really well, and I also liked, you know, the overall like direction of the video and the direction I got from the director to play this particular character. So that's one, and another one would be the commercial that I'm in that's airing now. I get notification like, hey, saw you in the CDW commercial, but it's like an American Gladiator in the Office type thing. That was just a fun comedic thing to play. Yeah.
Let's go with that one, okay?
Okay.
So we want you, if you will, for just a moment, to revisit that character.
Yeah.
We want you to dig deep down and show us what you think that character looks like having an orgasm.
Okay. Ready? Oh yeah, I'm coming right now.
Damn, fucking nailed it. Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's all making sense why you didn't want me to do it with the other character.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, well, this is going the wrong way. We're gonna have to backtrack.
In front of the kids, okay.
Okay, well, all I could think about was how inappropriate that little segment would be.
Nice redirect.
You're like, hey kids, milkshake.
Yeah.
You better stop there.
Hey, Mark,
Yeah.
it's our understanding that you do a lot of grip strength training.
Yeah. Strongest forearms in the camera, huh?
How many times would you say you fractured your penis while masturbating or even just urinating?
You know, I actually, this is a very serious thing for me. It's happened 3 times over the course of my life. And on that I was like, you know, break your penis once, shame on your penis. Break it twice, shame on my wrist.
Yeah.
Break it a 3rd time, obviously I'm abusing anabolic steroids to the point where I don't know my own strength.
Yeah, I mean, at this point,
I learned that, you know, I use tongs now to hold my dick when I pee and jerk off. So solve that problem.
See, I watched you on The Fighter and the Kid, and I can tell you were intelligent. So it does not surprise me that you've came into.
It's just engineering, you know. What can I say?
It's mechanical engineering at its finest.
Yeah, you solve problems. You know, that's what men do.
Now, Mark, on the subject of intelligence, we heard you invented the gym membership in order to meet chicks.
Yes, that's actually one of my something I really like to hang my hat on. You know, because before it would just be like you show up and you pay per machine, right? You know,
Right.
like, when you use this machine, it's this price. It's kind of like how they used to, you know, at Disneyland used to have like an e-ticket that would get you on certain rides. And I said, dude, this is a stupid thing. Like, you want people just coming and mingling. And if you see a machine over there, you want to be thinking about the cost of it. You just want to be freely associating all over the gym, because that's going to up your chances of interacting with women. And if you see a woman on a glute machine, like, you don't want to pay the money to use the glute machine when you really don't want to use the glute machine. You just want to be in the proximity of that woman. So I said, what if we just pay a flat rate, and then you can use any machine, and then as a guy, you can go, you know, flirt and do your thing and pretend like you're using a machine that you really don't give a fuck about. And that's going to greatly increase the number of these interactions you're going to have with the opposite sex, and, you know, ultimately lead to more dates, more plates, more dates.
Well, that actually brings me to my next inquiry about the invention of the treadmill, because before it was just a track that women would run around. And so we have it on good authority that you actually came up with the idea for the treadmill so that the ladies couldn't run away before you sealed the deal.
Exactly, because a lot of this stuff, like, you know, you used to be, obviously, where are all the women going to be for the most part in a gym? They're going to be on the cardio machines.
Right.
Before, you'd actually have to do cardio in order to catch up to these women.
Exactly.
So
Guys like us can't do that.
Yeah. So I said, what if we gave the males an advantage here by allowing the women to do cardio, but keeping them in the same place? And therefore, like the hunters that we are, that we've evolved to become over hundreds of thousands of years of evolution, what if we rigged the system, so to speak, so that the women are fixed in one place, believing that they're going somewhere. So they don't realize that we're hacking their fight or flight response too. Because even if you're a woman who would normally run from a guy like us, right? You think you're running, and your brain is telling you that you're safe because you're in flight mode, when really you're stuck frozen in place and allowing a predator like me to approach you with ease. So, you know, sure, it's inconvenient for some of these women out there who don't like being approached while they're doing cardio at the gym and they have their earplugs in. Boo-hoo. Whatever. You don't like it, you don't have to come to the gym. There's still tracks there. You know, my invention of the treadmill didn't make tracks obsolete. You just can go find a track somewhere. But if you want
I mean, it's still a pro-choice environment.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm all about pro-choice. So nobody's forcing me. You still have freedom in America. You can go to a gym, you can go to a track. That's ultimately your decision. Just know that when you enter the gym environment and step on a treadmill, you're going to have to deal with some men who now have a predatory advantage over you as the stationary prey. So
it's genetics.
Yeah.
You know, Jake's go-to move.
You guys.
Jake's go-to move is he'll put his hand on the arm of the treadmill and he'll stare at the woman until she takes her earbud out and asks him.
Yeah, I think that's a good call, because it's like, you know, you're not saying anything inappropriate. It's just like,
hey,
you know,
what's up?
I'm a strong masculine presence, and if you want to respond to that, that's your choice. If you want to keep running, you know, for the rest of your workout and let us both sit in this uncomfortable situation, that's also something you can do as well. Nobody's forcing you to take out your earphone.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
I want to do that at some point when I keep making this eye contact with you.
It's a very passive aggressive technique.
Yeah. But I think, you know, hey, anything goes.
And if I'm just standing there waiting for her to take her earbuds out, you know, I'm not wasting that much energy doing that. You know, I can do that all day long.
Right. Yeah. As far as stamina for you to just wait, it's like, cool. Yeah. You want to run? How's that going for you? You got 20, 30, maybe 40 minutes in you?
Yeah, exactly. But how long is she?
I can stay here until the bitch closes down, you know?
I'm all about that.
Oh, man. That's good stuff, though. It really is. We appreciate your contributions. We really do.
You're welcome. It's nice to be recognized.
Yeah, for sure. That's what we're here for.
Hell yeah. Mark.
Yes.
You're not just an actor, model, demigod, but you're also a personal trainer.
Yes.
So we want to ask you what the best exercise to improve rectal dexterity is. Rectal dexterity.
Rectal
dexterity. A lot of guys wouldn't think twice about their rectal dexterity, but we do. Before we were Tip of the Finger, we were in a metal band called Rectal Dexterity. So it was actually a really smooth transition to Tip of the Finger.
Transition was just simple.
But how do you improve rectal dexterity?
What I like to do is, I like to get under a heavy loaded barbell.
Okay.
And get my body nice and tight, loaded up, get down to a deep squat position, and keep everything tight. Use a Valsalva maneuver to brace my core, and ultimately that's going to lead to you having to clench your rectum, to keep everything inside. I get down to the deep squat position with the heaviest weight I can have in that position, clench it up, and then let it go. And then the challenge is, under all that weight, can I tighten it up again? So those are really my reps. If you walk into a gym and you see me just sitting in that bottom squat position, don't come up and spot me. Reps, you just can't see the reps. It's an open and it's a close. It's an open and it's a close. And so my best right now at this point is 405 pounds for 6 reps of a full open and a full clench. But I'm always trying to move that forward. I'm smart. I'm not going to throw on 500 pounds and injure my rectum.
Right.
But, I'll try to up it 5 pounds every week or two and just slowly move towards the point, my ultimate goal being a 600-pound max clench and release. So I'm not rushing it. I'm not a young man anymore. And I know I have to take these things slowly to avoid injury and avoid setbacks. But that is ultimately the goal. By the time I'm 40, I would love to have a 600-pound clench and release, and really just prove that, middle-aged guys can have rectal dexterity just like young guys.
I think Cody makes a good point. You probably don't even have to wipe because of your rectal dexterity. It just clean cut every time, right?
Yeah, it shoots it out. And there was a time when I was in the habit of wiping, right? But then after the 9th, 10th, 11th time, it's like, there's nothing on here. Did I? Oh, yeah, I did shit. Sometimes you think that was it a ghost poop or what happened? But
yeah, what happened here?
But the truth is, yes, when you get to an advanced level of rectal expulsion, the force in which you are propelling the feces out of your rectum at a high level, that all that particulate matter that you would be wiping away gets expelled along with the bulk of the load. So it all comes out at once. There's no half-assed. Some of it comes out, some of it's still on your asshole. It's all coming out at once. It's one clean expulsion, and it saves you thousands a year on toilet paper. So that's one of the practical reasons that I'd recommend that kind of exercise for almost anyone. If you're able to get under any type of loaded, but even if it's a 45-pound bar and do the kind of exercises that I've been describing, I would recommend it. Everybody has to start somewhere, and whether it's just a body weight squat and rectal squeeze and release, or you can add a little bit more weight. Start where you're at and just slowly build it out, because ultimately it's something that improves your life.
Now, I'm not a fitness expert by any means. I'm not a personal trainer, but I do feel like for that maneuver, having a spotter is probably counterintuitive, because you don't want to accidentally shit on your gym buddy. So like,
right.
Next thing you know, Chappelle and Brennan are like, "Hey man, sorry, we're not working out today. It's not because you shit on us the other day." But I can imagine that happening.
Exactly. It can get a little dicey when it comes to, the reason you have a spotter behind you is for worst case scenarios. It's just not every worst case scenario in the gym is going to end up covering your spotter in human feces.
Exactly.
So, you can either say, you know what, I'm just going to risk it and I'm not going to have a spotter, or you can have somebody spot you from the front, which is a little bit awkward because you end up having to face each other in a deep squat position, and get real intimate. It may look a little bit suspicious from the outside, but it's ignorant people judging you. They don't know what's going on. So maybe you want to explain beforehand, or just let people figure it out. If they want to know, they can come ask me. I'm not insecure about having a man.
Or you can make them sign a waiver. Make them sign a waiver.
Right. That's another thing you can do too. Say, hey, look, I'm not saying this is going to happen. I'm just saying it could happen, and you're taking on the risk, knowing that it's possible that you might end up with a little poo-poo on your butt.
Yeah, it's a good deal. Next question is, how does it feel to know that you possess guns so lethal that they wouldn't have been allowed in World War II.
That is
The
something.
sheer damage they would have caused.
Yes. I think about that sometimes because it brings my mind to a broader sort of philosophical conundrum with regards to the Second Amendment and the Geneva Conventions and the rules of conduct in general in warfare. It's often said, do you think the founding fathers would have, signed the Second Amendment into existence had they known that rocket launchers were going to come to be? I don't think so. So, legally, yes, my guns are covered under the Second Amendment and under the Geneva Convention as it currently stands. But, if you could put me in a time machine and show these bad boys off to some of the founding fathers,
I might reconsider the Second Amendment.
Yeah. So, would I do that? No, because I don't want to alter the course of history. So we're just going to have to, accept and act on faith that I'm going to use my guns responsibly and be a law-abiding gun owner and a good United States citizen who is not interested in causing anybody harm because these guns are really just for show.
Well, and that's another thing I was thinking about. Like if Hillary had won those years ago, you might have been classified as an illegal citizen.
Right. I could have actually, you could be looking at a man with no arms right now because,
you had to turn him in.
There was a lot of chatter online about, the government coming for our guns. And, they weren't making a distinction between whether or not these guns were physically attached to your body or not. So who knows? Legislation gets passed. All of a sudden, these agents of the government are showing up, with some hacksaws to take away my most prized possessions. And I wouldn't have had the legal authority to stop them. Sure, maybe I could appeal it in court, but by that time, my arms are long gone. So I am grateful for the fact that Trump was able to pull off that victory and, keep my body intact.
Yeah. I mean, let's give our props to Trump for that.
Yeah.
That was where credit's due. I mean,
say what you will about the guy, but at least I have my arms still,
Yeah, at least you still have all your limbs.
Yeah.
I mean, that's definitely something to be grateful for. And I think it's getting to the point where we're starting to miss that kind of courtesy.
Right. Yeah. And again, it's sad but true. But that sort of stress and worry is coming up again with the Biden administration. I don't know what he's planning on doing as far as passing new gun regulations, but it's possible you guys may wake up one day and go, "Where'd Mark Harley go? He's not on Instagram anymore. He's not posting. He's gone into hiding." Well, I might have to leave the country and go to another nation that has more friendly gun laws because, if I want to keep my arms on my body, there may come a day when the Biden administration is just simply not going to allow that to happen. And I'm not going to sit around and wait for Biden's cronies to show up at my door.
Exactly.
Exactly.
You got to get out while the getting's good.
Exactly.
Now, you go ahead.
I'm not so sure that they would just stop at your arms. What if? I mean, they probably view you as the big gun.
Right. That's true. Yeah, they could seize my entire person. At minimum, they take my arms and maybe say, "Hey, what's that hog? What's that double-barreled hog you got going on down there? Let's take that too." So that's in a best-case scenario. But sure, they could seize my entire existence.
Oh, I'm sure they got a whole file on you talking about your STD and everything.
Right. Exactly. They got a whole STD file, and it's like,
super thick dick. I mean.
I like that. Yeah, it doesn't surprise me at all. I think, obviously the Obama administration was spying on people, and who's to say that the Biden administration isn't continuing that? And I think there's reason to believe I'm a super thick dick of interest to the.
There's chatter that there may be a nationwide confiscation of STDs. So.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
You better buy a bunker.
The lamestream media won't report that, But if you know where to look and where to do your research, then you'll see that it's not something to be surprised about if it comes to be.
Now, speaking of the government, it's come to our attention that if you were to sell just 2 doses of semen, it could crash the economy. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, with great power comes great responsibility.
Yes.
It is something I'm aware of, and I'm a free market guy, so I don't believe in market manipulation like that. So I know it's possible for me to take advantage of these loopholes in the economy, but when I think about the impact that could have on everyday citizens, then I say, you know what, I'm going to keep my cum all to myself. All right.
Yeah, we've had a lot of guys tell us that they are collecting their own semen for like a semen reserve kind of thing. So
yeah, and it makes sense. The way things are heading, you want to have
backup,
enough food for at least 6 months, and enough semen for maybe even longer.
Yeah.
Anyone can be tasked with repopulating the earth at some point.
Our podcast is actually responsible for starting the hashtag Save the Semen movement. So
that's really cool. Yeah, and I've been seeing that around a lot, and I think it makes a lot of sense.
It's definitely catching on.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's going to keep his cum to himself, which I mean, that's actually really good etiquette, especially in public. You just keep it to yourself.
Right. Sure, some people out there might highly desire it, but I'm not going to assume that everybody wants my cum all the time.
Right.
Some people want my cum some of the time, and I think that's as far as I'm willing to go as of right now.
I used to assume people wanted my cum all the time. I left empty-handed, Mark. I left empty-handed.
So,
good, yeah. Hello? We got you fresh there.
Can you hear us?
Yes, sir.
All right. So, we've had some great guests, some truly funny people, mostly aspiring comedians and stuff. But I would say that you've been the most notable of, this is the most notable episode of all. So we appreciate having you out.
Of course.
How does it feel to see 2 guys peaking at once? Because it's all downhill from here.
It's a sight to behold. I'm witnessing 2 guys who just literally hit their prime, right before my eyes at the same time. I can honestly say I've never seen that happen before in my life, and I may never see that again. So it's a special moment that's going to be burned into my retinas forever.
Hell yeah. It's from the heart. We like that. So it sounds like the show's going to be coming to an end before too long. And we just took it upon ourselves to write a special song for Mark Harley.
Oh, no way. Nice.
All right. We wrote this song 5 minutes ago. It's called Haters Will Say.
Nice.
His name is Mark Harley. His physique is quite gnarly. He can bench 26,000 pounds.
That's true.
He's the buffest guy on Instagram. He'll make you an Insta fan. He's the definition of a real man.
Hell yeah.
Haters will say they got more followers, but we say they're swallowers. And haters will say their muscles are bigger, but how the fuck do they figure?
Not true. This sounds worth.
Bad calculations.
His acting is magnificent. He's done shows with 50 Cent. He played Thor in the Hungover Games.
That's right.
He was featured in Playgirl magazine. He made millions of ladies cream. He made us cream too, and we're not ashamed.
No, sir.
Haters will say none of this ever happened. But then why are they fapping?
What?
Good question.
And haters will say, this isn't Mark's favorite song, but they'd be wrong.
This is a fucking masterpiece, bro.
Hell yeah.
Put it up, Matt.
If haters say this isn't the greatest song, we'll punch him in the schlong. We'll grab him by the dong. We'll put him in a thong until they admit that this is the greatest song.
Just fucking admit it.
Yeah.
Amazing song. Dare I say it's my favorite song of all time.
I thought you would think so.
Yeah, fantastic.
Just for you, buddy.
I really appreciate it. I had no idea that was coming, and I hope you guys send me a recording of that.
Well, we'll try to get you a link to the video, and feel free to fucking boost it out, man.
Yeah, I'll definitely. Once you guys put it up, I'll share it on the socials.
Hell yeah, we appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on, man. It was a blast.
Yeah. Thanks for inviting me, and I'm glad the day fuck up didn't ruin anything.
Hey, yeah, no, I'm glad you stuck it out for us, and and I don't know when we're going to be on your podcast.
Mm-hmm. When I have guests, you guys.
I'm just giving you shit, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks so much for coming on. It's great.
Of course, great talking to you guys, and keep in touch, and hopefully I'll see you guys soon.
We will.
Brandon Williams
All right,
got to take this, so we got to get you out of here, bud. Brandon, get him out.
Get this guy off our podcast.
He's too famous.
He's too famous for us.
Fucking podcast, yeah, you fucking listen to it. Fucking podcast, yeah, you fucking listen good. Fucking podcast, yeah, you fucking listen to it. Fucking podcast, yeah, just as you should.
Cut.